Well, hello. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm cooking one of my favorites today, and that is some fried chicken tenders. These are the bomb, I just have to say, and they're so simple and easy. My husband and I are going to our cabin later on today, and he's worked through his lunch. So when he gets home, he's going to be really hungry, but he doesn't want to stop and eat. He's going to load up the truck, and we are going to get on the road. So I'm going to pack up these sandwiches. That way we can eat them on our way, and we don't have to take the time to go through a drive-through. We cannot wait to get to the cabin. Well, let me tell you about this recipe. One of the reasons I like it is because it takes almost no prep work. And at the end, you just pretty much throw away everything, which I really love. No dishes involved. So I start out with some chicken tenders. Now, this is a package that is basically leftovers for something that I did earlier in the week. And I just take my Ziploc baggie here, and I'm going to put these in my bag. I've got 7 of them, and I am going to marinate these in some buttermilk. Yum. And I'm about to tell you about that. So there we go, done with that. Throw away package number 1. And I've got my chicken tenders here, and I'm taking some whole buttermilk. Whole buttermilk is important. It makes a difference. If you can't find whole buttermilk and you can only find low fat, then take 2/3 buttermilk to 1/3 whipping cream, heavy whipping cream. If you've got to use low fat, then do it, but I strongly suggest you don't. And one of the reasons why I like doing this in a Ziploc baggie versus a bowl, first of all, I don't want to wash the bowl. And second of all, I use less buttermilk. Once this is finished marinating, I'm going to discard the buttermilk and throw it away. So I don't want to use a ton of it. So I found that the Ziploc baggie works really well for me. And I'm going to pour enough buttermilk just to cover these. And to make sure that I've got enough, I'm just going to take my hand and make sure that these are all equally covered. Now, I'm gonna add my spice. Now, my husband doesn't like spicy things. I do. So if I were doing these just for myself, I'd add a couple of dashes of Tabasco sauce. It boosts up the flavor, or some cayenne pepper, always does well. But instead, I have some of this seasoned salt. Lowry's, Morton's, whatever you want to use is fantastic. And I'm going to add, I've got my measuring spoons here, and I'm going to add a tablespoon. And I'm just going to add that right to the top. And I'm just going to take that and shake it up. Just kind of rub it with my hands a little bit. And what this buttermilk and spice is going to do, I'm going to let the air out of that. There we go. This is going to tenderize these and make them so tender and moist and delicious. I can tell you that there's not any drive-through or chicken place that you can go to that will beat these chicken fingers. And the great thing is, I'm just going to roll these up, and I'm going to let them sit on my counter for 30 to 45 minutes. Now, don't worry, it will not produce salmonella. I took these straight out of the refrigerator, and my buttermilk is cold. But one of the important things that you need to do when frying something is take the chill off of it. If not, you're going to cook the outside long before the inside is ever cooked. And these are nice, thin, perfectly sized chicken fingers. So 30 minutes I think is going to be perfect for this. And then I'll go ahead and batter them up. But for now, I've got some more packing I need to do. So I'm going to let these sit for a little bit, and I'll see you back here, and we'll work on the second Ziploc baggie. Well, I've been letting these sit for a little while, about 30 minutes, and I'm ready to go ahead and make the breading for the chicken fingers. Now, I'm going to heat up my oil. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. I'm using peanut oil, and I am going to heat that up to a medium heat. And while that's heating, I'll show you how I do my breading. Now, I use self-rising flour. This is important because that little bit of baking powder is going to make this breading lighter and crispier. It makes all the difference in the world. Now, you could take all-purpose flour and add a little baking powder to it. That would be fine, but hey, you know, this makes it so easy. So why not use it? I am going to start with about 2 cups of this flour. I think since I've only got 7 of those chicken fingers, then 2 cups will probably work perfectly. So, there we go. That looks just right. Now, you could add some kosher salt here if you'd like, but I'm going to add more of the seasoned salt. I love the flavor of it, and to me, it just adds the right amount of salt. Now, to my 2 cups, I'm going to go ahead and add a tablespoon. Now, this is a preference thing, so if you want to cut back on your salt, then this is where you need to do it. If you want to add more, then by all means, do that as well. But that will be perfect for these. I've done this, I don't know, at least 100 times, so I've kind of got this down pat. And I'm going to shake this up. The other thing that the seasoned salt makes a difference with is the color of the breading. It's going to add that nice red or golden color that we're looking for and be absolutely delicious. So I've got that done, easy peasy. And again, I've got another throwaway bag. So what I'm going to do now is start adding my chicken. Let's see here. I'm going to shake off any of the extras. Just take it and hit it along the bag. And I'm going to add 2 at a time. Let's do that. Get that extra. See how that looks? It's perfectly coated and it smells delicious. That buttermilk and seasoned salt looks so good. And I'm just going to shake them up. Just like that. And I'm going to do that with all of these. So here we go. Last one. So I'm going to discard this, and this looks like the perfect amount of flour. And I'll tell you what I do is if I have any leftover flour mixture, I just fold this baggie up and I stick it in the freezer and I use it the next time. Perfectly good. Waste not, want not is what I say, but these are ready to go. I'm going to let some of the air out. Now, let's move over to this frying pan and I'll show you how it's done. My oil is heating up. I've got my chicken all ready and I'm just going to give it one last shake. Now, I am frying in peanut oil. This is the best frying oil you will ever use. It's got a high smoke point and you can get it up to a really high temperature and it won't burn. So we love it here. If you can't get peanut oil, use vegetable oil. That's just fine. And I have added, I call it 2 fingers. So 2 fingers at the bottom. I don't want to immerse the chicken fingers, but I want to make sure that there's plenty of oil in there to cook all of these at one time. And another thing, I've lined my plate with a paper towel, and then I just added this cooling rack on the top. That way when the chicken's done, I can sit it right on top of that, and I don't have to soak my chicken in the oil that it's trying to drain off. So I found that that's a good little trick. Let's go ahead and get started on one of these. See, and I'm shaking off the extra here, and look at how pretty that looks. Let me just try. Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to turn up my heat just a little bit, and I've got it on a medium-high heat, and I'm going to start adding these. They are going to be so good. My husband's going to be so happy. I'm going to turn up my heat just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and add these. Just scooch them over a little bit. Don't let your oil start cooling off. That's important. You want to make sure that it's still frying really well, and every piece that you add starts crisping up immediately. If it doesn't do that, then hold back on adding any more and raise up your temperature. Last one. And again, either discard or put it in the freezer. Now, look at these. You don't want to disturb these while they're cooking. I'm going to let these cook for about 3 minutes. That way they're going to be good and crispy on the bottom, and then flip them over and they're almost done. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to cook these. 5 minutes is usually tops. Okay, some of these first ones that I added are ready to be turned over. Look at that. And I love how the buttermilk makes these little puffy crispies. Oh, that is so perfect. Look at how nice and golden brown those are. These are going to be delicious. And I'll tell you something, the leftovers are just as good. Take them out, put them on a cookie sheet, heat them in a preheated oven at 375 for about 10 minutes, and they come right back up. So, so good. That one's not quite ready yet. Oh, this one is. Look at that. Perfect. And I'm going to let these cook for maybe 2 minutes at the most. It just depends on how long it takes to get them golden brown on the bottom. I wish that you could smell what I'm smelling. There's nothing better than fried chicken. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if we're going to make a chicken sandwich out of these. We may just eat them like this. Yum. Now, I'm frying in a cast iron skillet. I don't like to fry anything unless I'm using cast iron. It's just simply the best. And this frying pan happens to be one that I got from my grandmother. It's probably 70 years old at least. I can't tell you how many pieces of fried chicken that have been cooked in this frying pan, and it is a treasure to me. It's seasoned so perfectly, and I love it. If you don't have a cast iron skillet, use a heavy bottom Dutch oven or any heavy bottom skillet. Don't fry in a non-stick pan. Please don't do that. Just go get you some cast iron. It's a great investment. Oh, that is great. Look at that. Just set that right on that. That way it doesn't absorb any more oil. The oil is dripping down, and this is sitting where air can get to it on all sides, and that ensures that it's going to stay crispy. Look at that. There might be one or two of these missing by the time Jimmy gets home. Gonna let those sit for just a minute more, and I'll see you when these are done. Look at these delicious chicken fingers. These look so good, and we'll make several sandwiches and definitely some leftovers. I just got a text from my husband, and he'll be home in about 30 minutes, so that's perfect. I'm gonna let these rest, and then I'll make up our sandwiches. But before I do, let me just show you. Doesn't that look wonderful? See how tender and moist they are? And listen to this crunch. I should learn to take smaller bites. These are so good, and they're perfectly seasoned. It's delicious. It's salty enough, but not too salty for us. Now, you may want to pull back on that, but for us, this is just right. This is so easy and simple. I promise if you will try this recipe, you'll never go back to a drive-through. They're so easy, and your family is going to love them. And I'll tell you something else. If you want to do chicken nuggets for kids, then just take your cooking shears and cut them before you fry them, and then cook up some chicken nuggets for those little nuggets of yours. Well, I am going to take this piece of chicken, and I'm going to go finish packing and then get done with these sandwiches. I'm ready to make these sandwiches. They look so good. I've got some pickles, and I have got some of the best chicken dipping sauce that I've ever found. If you want some more information on this, just let me know. It is absolutely wonderful. And I've toasted some buns here. I'm just taking some of this dipping sauce and adding that to my bun. And I'm gonna take a couple of pickles, because what's better on a chicken sandwich than a few pickles? And since I'm adding my own and I'm not going through a drive-through, I'm going to add several, because I happen to think that that is one of the best parts of the sandwiches. That looks so good. And let me grab these chicken fingers. Don't they look delicious? I'm telling you, they are. So let's add that just like that, and voila. My husband is going to be so happy that I made these. And I'm just going to wrap it up in this tin foil and let it stay nice and warm. Well, I'm so glad that you joined me today. I hope that you will make these for your family and you'll skip the drive-through next time. I promise they are going to love it. I hope you have a blessed day and enjoy whatever it is you're doing.